Hi, I'm Heather from Arrow, and today I'm going to show you how to assemble the Mod Thread Caddy. This is part of our Mod collection. There are 4 pieces total, but this today is our Thread Caddy, which will come in 3 separate boxes. It comes in white to match the other 3 pieces, and it has a door that will slide in. It comes with 4 baskets, and then it comes with 3 thread units that'll fit all of your thread. For assembly of your cabinet, you'll need a hammer or a mallet to put wood dowels in, a Phillips head screwdriver, number 2, and we do recommend to make it easier using an electric screwdriver with a number 2 Phillips head. And we also find that all of our cabinets have a melamine coating, which is a plastic coating. There are pre-drilled holes, but sometimes they're not deep enough, particularly if you're doing it by hand. So if you have a very small 1/8 drill bit, if you start and just kind of push those in, it will help with your screwing. On step 1, you want to locate your panel D, your panel X, your panel Z, your panel Y1, your panel Y2, and your F panels. And then you're going to grab your D1 dowels and you're going to insert them into the holes. So on panel F it gets 4, there's 1 on each side. And placement of the dowels is important. You'll notice there is a cam here, and in front of the cam is a hole, and next to it is where the dowel will go. Never put the dowel inside the cam hole, it's always going to go next to it. So panel F there's 4, panel Y2 there's 4, 2 at the top, 2 at the bottom, Y1, 2 at the top, 2 at the bottom. Panel Z, 2 at the top, 2 at the bottom, again notice placement. X, 2 at the bottom, 2 at the top, and the only exception to that is panel D, which is going to get 8. So 2 on each corner. Step 1, parts 3 through 7, you're going to find your V1 panel and your V2 panel, which are your door panels. And there's several steps here, so we're kind of going to combine them. The first one, it does tell you to take your H handle and your B2 or bolt and attach it. We find don't do that. Wait to the very end, just because we want to leave these panels flat for screwing other things in. So leave those aside for now. You want to get your G1 hinge using your S1 screws, and you're going to attach this to your V2 panel. Just as we've done here, there's this round circle hole, you'll see how they fit in, and then add the 2 screws. Moving over, you're going to take your H1 hinges and your S1 screws, and you're going to, in the pre-drilled holes, screw in the 2 hinges. You're going to find your T1 caster. You're going to screw that into the bottom of your V1 panel. And then your M magnet, and there's 2 parts to this magnet. There's the actual magnet part and the strike plate. So you're going to find the strike plate off of there, and then you're going to take little tiny S4 screws, these 2 here, there's only 2 of them, and screw this into the top of your V1 panel. And then lastly, take for both of them, flip them over and attach your handles to the opposite sides. Step 1, parts 6 and 7, you're going to find your A panel and your G panel. And your G panel is the other side that has the drawer runners. So on your A panel, you're going to take that M magnet that we talked about earlier, and you're going to attach it with your S1 screws. Notice placement here, the magnet is facing out towards the door this way, not inward towards the drawer runners. So attach that. Then flip panel G over, and you're going to grab your remaining T1 casters and your B4 washers, and you're just going to screw them on. So obviously the washer goes over the hole, and you're just screwing it down. On step 2, you're going to grab your X, your D, and your Z panels, and you're going to nestle those wood dowels and cam bolts together. So you can see how they're lined up there over here. Pop them in, get them in. Oops, did I pop it out actually? There we go. And then you'll tighten each cam down. There's going to be 4 of them. You need to turn them 180 degrees. So tighten this one, this one, this one, and that one. On step 3, you're going to find your Y2 panel, your Y1 panel, and your F panel, and you're going to nestle them together with the dowels and cams, and you're going to lock it turn it 180 degrees 4 times. And kind of notice placement here. You've got your cams facing inward, and your back here should all line up nice and straight. If you've got one of the panels on backwards, it'll be a little cattywampus. That's how you'll know. So everything should be flush. So step 4, part 1, you're going to take your X, your D, and your Z panels that you already have together, and you're going to nestle it back onto panel G. You kind of notice placement here. The drawer runners on G are facing the left. The Z panel is over here on our right. So once you get them down, your next step on part 2 is to take your large S20 screws, and from underneath on panel G, you will insert them and screw them into Z, just like that. And there's 2 of them, one in the front and one in the back. And then you're going to tighten it right here. And so you're also going to take your screwdriver and tighten your cam bolts down. We have found with these long S20 screws that you're going to need 2 screwdrivers, one holding the top unit in place while the other one underneath is working. Step 4, still in part 1, you're going to take your Y2, your F, and your Y1, and you're going to nestle it inside of your cabinet now onto G, where you should line up with the cams and the dowels. And again, once you get it nestled down, you're going to tighten the cams 180 degrees. There should be 4 of them, 2 on each side. The last step in step 4, part A, is to attach your A panel onto your X, your D, your Y2, your Y1, and your Z panels. And so get the dowels and cam bolts lined up and then press it down. And this panel A had 10 cams in it that you're gonna have to tighten. So again, remember, turn it 180 degrees, but you wanna go through each panel and tighten it down because there are several on each panel that need to be done. And just count as you go, 1, 2, 3, and get all the way to 10. For step 4, the last part, A, that we were talking about, where you're going to put A on and then tighten the 10 cam bolts. You'll notice the one in the back corner here. You're probably wondering, how do you get to that one? Because you can't fit your hand in here with a screwdriver. So we've left an extra hole here, all the way in the back, which you will then insert your screwdriver in. It'll hit your cam bolt and you'll tighten it down. On step 5, when you're adding your S7 screws, those small screws, there are 4 holes here. You're going to put it in the furthest 4th hole closest to the door here. That way you'll be able to close the door properly, because it will slide into the cubby like that, as well as getting it out and getting it to lay flat. On step 5, you're going to take your V1 and V2 doors and attach it to your Z panel using these very small S7 screws. There's only 4 that come. They're that small. And essentially, you're just putting them in these 2 little spots on each hinge. So I'll put this one in down here so you can see it. And what we found is you can have the hinge rest on top of the rail here as you're doing it. It does help maybe to have somebody hold the door while you get the first 2 going, and then you should be good. On step 6, you're going to grab your pre-assembled thread drawers and you're going to line them into the drawer runners on the top and the bottom. And so you kind of want to, jimmy it, but you'll hear this click at the top when you got it in. Then line it up in the bottom and just shove it in. And they should all work lovely and smoothly. You can use a little WD-40s on those drawer runners to make them a bit smoother. And then the last step is to put your 4 little boxes that come with it into the space.